Welcome to an episode of Ballas Union. This is our end of the year episode. We had a great year. We started off when we started off mid July.
Something like that.
We started off recording. We were just putting out episodes. Saying that we went from like having 2 viewers to 1,000 viewers overnight. So it's been somewhat of a good year through all the craziness of COVID in 2020. And there's been a lot of changes in sports. Definitely, earlier this year, we lost a legend in Kobe and his daughter. And then throughout that, we was continue losing legends from Gibson. Who else? Animal from Legion of Doom.
Yep.
And it was like many more. You know what I'm saying? And who could forget the Black Panther?
Yeah. Chadwick Bowman.
Yeah.
Boseman.
Well, let's get back to the show. We got Smash
coming this much paint.
Right. Let's get back. We got Smash holding down the paint. You know what I'm saying? He's the only one that been in. He the only one that been didn't have no injury report, no parade, no days off, nothing. You know what I'm saying? He's on a longer 10-day contract.
Give himself a round of applause.
We got GeauxDee. He came back from CNN, Fox, C-SPAN, BBC tour.
Hey man, I was looking out for the peoples, man. I'm trying to keep up with the peoples.
What he call him, John Lemon?
yeah. He was the driving force for that extra 1,400.
Hey man, I'm trying to help the peoples, bro.
So he's back running things at point forward. And you ready to know who I am, Gio, your host. I hold down the 4. I got the inside-outside game. Make it do what it do.
Make it do what it do, baby.
Yep. You can also catch me on the Chicago edition of Ballers Union. Where we just talk about Chicago sports. If you don't know by now, if you're a Chicago sports fan, you have a condition because all Chicago sports team, all they do is disappoint. But it could be worse. We could be from Atlanta.
You right.
That was good. That was good.
But let's get right into it.
You caught me slipping on that.
Let's get right into the NBA season's in full effect. And I like to point out one thing. That whole bubble, I know we enjoyed the NBA at the time. We enjoyed the bubble tournament or the bubble little 8-game season and the playoff. And we all agreed it was good basketball until towards the end when they where the referees were just making games unbearable to watch for no reason at all. But that whole bubble tournament, I think, set back the NBA a season or two. Because right now the whole NBA is in shambles. Because you got the New York Knicks blowing out the Milwaukee Bucks. You got the Cavaliers blowing out the 76ers. You got the so-called contending champions or contending for a title, Los Angeles Clippers, losing by 50 points. So there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on in the NBA. What are your guys' thoughts on it?
It's good basketball to me. I mean, you expect to see the best teams win, but to see the Knicks, for blowout fashion, I think the crowds have something to do with it, bro. I really do think the crowds have something to do with it, with them not being able to get over the hump or make a run like they're supposed. Like you don't normally see the runs like we see in the normal NBA.
Right.
But I enjoyed it. It was good to see a blowout here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to agree with him on the crowd aspect. I mean, from every level that you played on, whether it was little youth league basketball or college, whatever, there's always been the crowd that has the impact. Whether it's your mama cheering you, go baby, or just everybody else getting excited. It's that crowd, man. It's just like it's like an extra practice that you're coming to, I guess. And you know how AI feel about practice.
That energy. That energy.
Right, I definitely can see that as a factor because I know back when I played sports, when I had a little Holly come watch me play, you know what I'm saying, I put in a little extra effort.
do a little extra for the fans.
Right. I hit a little harder, ran a little faster.
Put
a little extra effort into it.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
You'll say after you make a big play, you point at her and say that was for you.
Right. Taking off your helmet and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I definitely can see that. And that probably explains why the Miami Heat, you know what I'm saying, because that's one of the teams that always known to practice hard because of the culture Pat Riley installed. It probably explains why they went all the way to the finals, and teams like Toronto and the Bucks, who were dominating their season, you know what I'm saying, just folded in the bubble.
Right. I don't know, man. I'm enjoying it. I think it's got a little bit to do with them coming off of such a short time span from the end of the season to now. A lot of them not being in game shape. I think they're doing a lot of working out, but I don't think because of the new norm that we in with COVID, I don't think they get out and do as much workouts like they normally do.
Right. That definitely might be a factor as well. Because unlike other sports, or probably baseball is the only other sport, but like basketball and maybe baseball is like they need to be in a rhythm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially your shooters. So it probably explains why the Golden State Warriors shooters are like 0 for whatever. Like 0 for 50 at this point from the 3-point.
Yeah, they may, they may be on a tank again. I don't know with Golden State. They may be on a tank again, waiting for Clay to come back and get that second lottery draft pick to buoy the team one more season.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that Wiggins is a real bust. You know what I'm saying? The Kelly Oubre, he's missing. I don't think he hit a shot yet, but at least he's taking smart shot. At Wiggins, he's just taking bad shots and just missing shots.
Well, that's Wiggins. I mean, we know that's always been Wiggins, so it's nothing new for Wiggins.
You think it'll change with Steve Kerr as coach? Because, the way he coaches and preaches about passing the ball and letting the open man shoot.
Well, every great player, a great player makes a good coach look better than what he is. And I think the team that he inherited made him look a little bit better than he really is as a coach.
Explains the Luke Walton thing then.
Exactly.
Would you use that same analogy for Doc Rivers?
Well, Doc Rivers just can't coach. That's just
reestablish that.
He just can't.
Y'all think he can coach? I think he's a good coach.
I think he's a good, let's say, mentor, or he's good at relating to players.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But as far as X's and O's, he ain't that guy.
Interesting.
We said interesting.
I got death threats after I said something bad about Dak last time. So.
We know you can't go back to Chicago. You're probably in a bunker right now as we speak.
Oh, they already banned him from Chicago.
He can't go home.
I ain't never even been to Chicago, and I got word you can't come back.
Yeah, that's true. So, most people from Chicago that make it anyways, they move to Atlanta or somewhere south anyway, so it don't matter.
Oh,
you don't win tonight, okay?
Yeah, he win tonight.
Yeah. But so that let's go ahead and move it on. NFL football season. We're at week 17.
Yes, sir. Atlanta's out the playoffs.
Yep.
I know it don't even seem like a football season without us in the playoff.
You know, saying the Saints are still fighting for the number 1 seed.
That's right, baby. We full Pete NFC South champs. Full Pete. Say it again,
Smash. They'll be out first
full
round.
Pete.
They'll be out.
4 Pete. 4 Pete.
Yep.
They'll be out again.
4 Pete Smash.
I think
That means there was a college freshman that went in college and graduated and watch us win a division championship every year. Four-peat smash.
Wow. Out of the NFC, there's 3 teams fighting for 2 spots, which is the Rams, Cardinals, and Bears. And in the AFC, it's so tight. Like the Dolphins can make it. I think the Raiders just shot themselves in the foot. What's the other team?
Out.
Yeah, they're out. There was another team. The Ravens are on the bubble. The Steelers are on the bubble. It's a lot of teams on the bubble right there. The Steelers are not on the bubble. Steelers still fighting for the number 1 seed.
I mean, the Steelers were. I mean, we already knew the way that schedule played out for the Steelers that they really weren't what their record said they were. So it's not a surprise to see them stumbling across the finish line right now.
Right.
Oh, you didn't want to crown them?
Yeah, you want to crown them?
They are who you thought they were?
Yeah. I would like to see the Bears do some upset, like, play the Saints the first game and upset them.
It happened before. It's happened before.
Like that too.
I mean, the NFC North has always been an Achilles to us when it comes to playoffs. So it's not like it can't happen, but it can't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I was looking at salary caps, and I don't know how. Well, I do know how, but why are the Saints negative $95 million?
Because we four-peat. We spend our money. Make sure we maximize all our money so that we can four-peat in the division. That's why. I'm
gonna tell you some of your maximized money. You pay your backup or third string quarterback, whatever he is, tight end. I don't know what he is because he plays so many positions.
$16 million.
Yeah, $16 million to sit on the bench.
Nah, he don't sit on the bench. He plays all the time. What you mean? You think about Taysom Hill. You think about Breeze went out for 4 games. We finished 3-1 in that span, right? Then he goes back to his original role. So we're getting our money's worth for him. The question should be
how many plays he gets in his original role.
I don't know. He's probably, if they have 60 snaps, he's probably getting 25 snaps. 25
he ain't
snaps.
getting that much.
Yes, he is. He's on the field. Is he either at wide receiver? He's at an H-back. He's somewhere on that field. Then he plays special teams. So it's worth it. He's worth every dime. He's not worth
$60 million.
He's not worth to be the starter. Now he's not that. Now when Drew Brees retire, then we have to question. Then you can question that $16 million. Was it really worth an investment? But when you have somebody that's a utility knife, you gotta, you pay him, because if we didn't pay him, I'm sure somebody else was going to pay him the same amount of money.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
Chase
Daniel got paid for holding the clipboard. So
the reason why they in debt like that, Gio, is because of Bounty Gate, man. They still got that going on over there.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying dirty. That's all it is. They paying people under the table on legal shots and this and that. So you can't trust them Saints, man.
And that wound still hurt, don't it, Smash? That wound still hurt, brother. Could y'all sit at the kitty table? I understand.
I'm just trying to help everybody understand how a team go that far in debt.
Well, we've never been under the cap. We've always spent our money. One thing about the Saints, they always going to spend a bunch of money. If you look at it, they spent a high amount of that money has been spent on that offensive line to protect Drew Brees, and that's where a big lump sum of that money is. Plus, he's making a king's ransom on the back end of his career. So, it'll be different if we hadn't four-peated and we got all this money spent. Then it would be a big difference if we didn't four-peat. So, it's money well spent. Money well spent.
Right. Now, here's a few teams that have. Let me see the top 4 teams that have salary cap. It's Jets, Jaguars, trash.
That's why they got all that money.
Right. Then saying they're like in the 70s. Then $65 million in cap space in the upcoming year is the Indianapolis Colts. So that's dangerous.
That's interesting now because
Yeah.
their team is not that bad, and Rivers has buoyed that program. So they're not great, but they're not bad. So they're to their position where actually I really think that they should have lost this season because I think with the quarterbacks that's coming out this year, I think if they wouldn't have took Rivers, I think they would have been in a place like Atlanta to fight for the first high first round pick.
Right. I agree. And then the other team is it's not even fair. Is the Patriots?
Yeah, now that's scary.
You know what I'm saying? Because you get this guy, you get the hoodie. One, he don't pay players, but two, you give him money to get players.
Right. That's scary because you think about him. He's always at the back end of the draft making things happen at the back end of the draft. So if you give him a boatload of money, plus he's in the mid to the early rounds in the first round, this is scary. He could pull off a coup.
Yeah, I think the last time he had a mid-round pick was Chandler Jones.
Right. See what he turned out.
But now is it him or was it Brady that was that team?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Brady's still doing successful over there in Tampa, and then
Not really.
Belichick. I mean, it's Tampa, man. I mean, that's successful for them.
Oh, I guess you're right.
I mean, they hadn't made the playoffs since 2007, so anything above that is success. So, I it's a little. I mean, we know Tom Brady. He can fall broke today or tomorrow, and he can call at least 10 assistants, Belichick, and get loans. No payback loans because it's Tom Brady. I think he buoyed a lot of that. He made a lot of that look good when otherwise it couldn't have happened.
Right.
But I'm saying, you think Belichick could go somewhere else to another team and have some of the similar, not the exact same, but similar success?
I do.
Yes,
I do.
Yeah. The NFL is one of the sports, or football is one of the sports where coaching matters. You know what I'm saying? Your coaching staff determines your team. Like, if you look at the playoff pictures, like you got now this year we have 14 teams that can make the playoffs. But I guarantee you always have the same 9 or 10 teams always make the playoffs, and it's because of their coach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the 4P Saints. Saints got one of the top coaches in the league. They're always in the playoff run.
Now, when we get there, it's a different story, but at least we get there.
Yeah.
What about I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Move on.
Yeah. Some other coaches always in there. Mike Tomlin, Pete Carroll. You'll say they always making the playoffs. Andy Reid, no matter what team he's coaching, he's always in the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So with y'all's reasoning, does that mean that Cam is out of a job now?
Cam is definitely out of a job. Cam will be an unrestricted free agent going to this offseason. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Cam don't got it anymore.
I think
you can see it in the games. Father Time is undefeated.
And I don't really think it's Father Time. I just think that his head is. I think he's not as dedicated as he originally was when he first came into the league. I don't think you look at him play. I don't see the fire in Cam like we normally see, throughout the years from him when he was in Carolina. I think he's elsewhere. I don't think he's totally committed on football right now.
Nah, those hits sting harder now. Those hits sting a little longer now. He doesn't do what he does, trying to run people over and all that like he used to. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't. One thing I noticed he doesn't do at all is step into his throw if there's a rusher coming at him.
Right. So you think his body has just worn out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he didn't have the surrounding players. I mean, you said it earlier, like Belichick, they don't pay nobody. And Brady, I mean, we've always had that conversation where the Patriots always got a bunch of no names that make it to the Super Bowl. Cam has always had at least one or two superstars. I mean, he got McCaffrey, but he's always had somebody to throw it to, whether it was Steve Smith or the other receiver. I can't remember his name,
Calvin Benjamin from Florida
Benjamin. Thank
State.
you. Florida State,
Yeah.
Or
he's
Greg
always
Olsen,
had somebody to help him out.
Yeah. And then you got to think about it too. With Belichick, he had to play against the Jets twice, the Bills twice, the Miami Dolphins twice. So it was actually a toss-up division. It was an easy division for him at the time as well. So you got Miami starting to come around thanks to Geo. Buffalo Bills are doing their thing now, so they're kind of competitive right now. So that kind of takes a bit away from that New England success as well.
Right. I think this is the first time Buffalo swept them or the first time the Patriots got swept since like the 90s, I want to say.
Yeah, it's been a long time. They've been in the driver's seat in that division for a long, long time. And it's not because they were just great, because they were a great team. I'm taking that away from the Patriots, but they just knew when they look at the schedule, they see those 5 or 6 games, they were like, man, we can kind of coast on this one.
Right.
It was not no competition.
Or work on new players or something.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And another thing that show coaching matters is what's his name? Doug Peterson from the Eagles. He's able to win with Nick Foles, and he's able to win with Jalen Hurts. Those are two opposite ends of the spectrum as far as QB.
Well, let's not give him a lot of credit, Gio. Let's not give him a lot of credit now. You know how the NFL is. The NFL, he came out, he destroyed us on national TV. He came out and destroyed us. But you got to remember, that is the NFC East. And
this is true.
They're just barely above 500, I would believe. So
they're not even above 500. They're under 500.
So I can't.
They can't even get above 500. They can't get above 500.
So I can't give them too much credit. Yeah, you winning, but the division that you're in is really the reason why you even in playoff contention.
Right. But the reason why I said that is because they had the prototypical, or what the experts like to say, prototypical
drop back quarterback. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. He got the strong arm. He got the body. He got the physique. He got the pigmentation.
The pigmentation.
They're saying he's mobile.
But that's why, though. That's why they're not winning, because to me, Philadelphia has always been one of those teams that I like, because pretty much when I was growing up, they always had a black quarterback. I mean, they had Randall Cunningham, Rodney Peete. I think Rodney Peete played for them.
Yep.
But maybe not. But I think he did. But then you had Mike Vick.
Don't forget Donovan McNabb. Put some respect on McNabb.
That's what. Yeah. So they've always had a black quarterback, and they kept him in games and in the hunt. And this last time, I mean, you had that 1 year where the two quarterbacks, Foles and Wentz, was having a good year. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, I think they need to stick to the black quarterbacks. So Jalen Hurts might be what they need.
Right.
Right.
All the way back to Randall Cunningham, right?
Yeah. Talking about the NFC East and black quarterbacks, the Washington football team cut Dwayne Haskins. He's just this is the second year in the league, I want to say. He was 15 overall pick, first round. This is unheard of for a first round to get cut in the second year. So I want to know what he was doing in that locker room.
Yeah,
he's just prototypical kid that just doesn't care. Like he just doesn't respect his blessings. I mean, there's a protocol. He must have been on the phone with James Harden, because
here he comes.
You don't, if they tell you can't do something, then don't do it. They've been paying you all this money, and then you're not working out. You're coming in overweight. I mean, for him, it was just a situation. And then again, he wasn't the current regime's quarterback anyway, so that didn't help the situation either. So for him, it's just, man, we don't get many opportunities as black at quarterback. So you got to take that extra effort, that extra rep, that extra film session, stay out the limelight, other than outside of the field, to make it in this league. Because I would be surprised to see if this kid even gets a chance to even be a backup or get a chance to play somewhere else in the NFL because of how he's gone over the course of 2 years. This is sad, man.
Right. Yeah, a few things he did that caused red flags. He had a draft. He was charging people for his draft party.
That.
You know what I'm saying? Mind you, he was rated as a third rounder. He only got chosen in the first round because of Dan Snyder, which we all know he don't know nothing about football. And the only reason why he was graded as a third rounder is because of the maturity level. Because as far as his talent level, he got it. He got the arm, he got the accuracy, he got the height. You know what I'm saying? He's not easy to bring down. But other than that, it's like in between the ears.
That's when he has all the physical attributes, but he just doesn't have the mental attributes to get him over the hump to play in the NFL.
Right. What's the other things he did? Oh, go ahead.
Normally, he got that entitlement, man, and which a lot of these young kids coming into the league in all leagues, all major leagues, with that entitlement attitude, man, because they've been treated such a certain way the whole time, and then a player like him, like you're saying, he can throw it all over. He has natural talent, so he feels like he doesn't have to put too much in. Probably, I'm just saying, he probably feels like he doesn't have to put too much in to what he does because it comes easy, man, and that's why like a lot of the people that we hear about as stars, they're some of the ones that came from no-name schools because they got the work ethic. He's not put in the work ethic.
And I think it's more of that than I think his work ethic is just terrible. I think, like you said, the entitlement and compassed with the terrible work ethic. On that level in college, you can get away with that. Everybody's entitled in college. You go to Ohio State, they're gonna cover up everything to make sure that you do good. Make that prima donna not show as much until it's time to get drafted. But you have to put that extra work in to get in the NFL, man. It's not a cakewalk, especially at the quarterback position. Now, I'm just sad, man, for him. I'm not sad for him. I'm sad for us that when those opportunities are presented to us to see him squander the opportunity because it's self-inflicted wounds. It's not nothing that you didn't do. That you can't say, "Well, it's me." You can't say, you know what I'm saying? You can't blame anybody else but yourself. And I hate to see those opportunities get squandered because you shoot yourself in the foot.
Right. You can't. Yeah, you definitely can't play the race card. You can't say the coaching staff hated you.
Right.
Because the first thing that he when the new regime or Ron Rivera came in, they made him captain.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Then he goes and turns around and instead of taking a knee at the end of the game that they won,
he's taking pictures.
Selfies. You know what I'm saying?
For real?
But not even that, man. And to tell you how it goes even further than that, why does Doug Williams go to Ron Rivera wanted to cut him last week, but Doug Williams, Hall of Famer, went to bat for him, right? To say, give him another week. Let's see how he turns around, and he still show up late, right? And you still doing all the other antics that you do to get yourself cut. I mean, so we can't feel bad for him. We feel bad for us that he's a piss poor representation of us. But
it haven't been this bad.
Who has been a successful quarterback from Ohio State? Exactly.
Kurt Herbstreit. He's a great announcer. How about that? Does that qualify?
Terrell Pryor.
Who do I receive? Does that count?
Yeah, that counts for me.
But I mean, you think about it. I mean, all the top programs in college, Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, those type of programs, they're system type programs. Miami, they're system type programs. So all they need is the athletes around them and get somebody that can a game manager, and that's what they use as quarterbacks, game managers. Because once they get to the pros, always you think about Aaron Rodgers comes from what, Cal? You know what I'm saying? It's always the off-brand school. Tom Brady was 5th on the depth chart at Michigan. Didn't even start. It's it's always the obscurity of the position of where they come from that actually gets the chance to shine in the NFL.
Right. That goes back to work ethics and but Haskin, he was not your typical Ohio State quarterback because he could throw downfield and he had accuracy and he wasn't. Most Ohio State quarterbacks is able to run and he wasn't able to run like that.
Right, because he's a good quarterback, man. He just doesn't have it. He has the what we're gonna call what's his name? Russell. What's his name from LSU?
Jamarcus Russell.
He has the Jamarcus Russell syndrome. Got all the intangibles, all the physical attributes, but just don't have it in between the ears. Probably bagging groceries at the Piggly Wiggly down in Alabama somewhere.
He probably selling cars. He's probably used cars.
Yeah, selling cars.
Not even new cars, used cars. Deal. Dang.
Selling the Katrina cars.
Yeah. Same way. Hey, when they dub you or when they nickname you Jamarcus Lane, you didn't care about your career.
Nah, man. He went from 200. He was already a big kid at 260 pounds, and by the time he reported to training camp, he was over 300 plus. He just signed that contract and was like, you know what, I'm done for. And then he wasn't even smart enough to save the bread. Like,
and that, I mean, you talking about that? That brings up another question I kind of had too. I don't mean to keep going off the cuff, but for they about to start paying these players in college. Are we going to see? Are we going to see this attitude come out when they making this little money? And are we going to see those players who, like you were talking about, a Tom Brady, show their stuff so that they can get up to make that money in college? Because I think it should be on the level. Like if you're on the bench, you ain't making no money. I mean, but if you're out there on the field, then you make some money.
Right. If that's the case, if they show their entitlement, they're going to get benched real quick.
I doubt
this
it.
This is college football.
I doubt it.
Saying they be swapping like college football. They could swap out a quarterback in a quarter.
I doubt it. If you're somebody like Dwayne Haskins that has so much talent, so much immense talent that his what we see of him now has always been there, right? He's played under Urban Myers, who always let things slide, right? He has one of the most murderous teams in college football history. And I mean that figuratively, not literally. I mean literally, not figuratively. With that Florida State, with the Florida teams. So that of him was always there, and I think they coddled him in college so much that will get overshadowed. As long as they're producing on the field, I think a lot of that stuff will get overlooked. Now it doesn't get overlooked when they're in the pros, but in college, I think they'll let a lot of stuff slide, man. It'll take a certain type of coach. Because they're making so much money on that level that they'll bend the rules. They might not break the rules, but they'll bend them to the point where they can get over to continue winning. So I don't think anything will change. I don't really know.
Yep. Also, a side note, you know who was his backup and asked for a transfer when he was in college? Haskin? Joe Burrows.
Yeah, Joe Burrows was behind him, was behind TJ Barrett. Joe Burrow's behind a lot of people, and he decided to because he wanted to win a championship, so he knew what to do. He made the right move.
Right. It also helps. He has Hall of Fame wide receivers on both sides.
Hey, I can't even be mad. I can't even be mad. You put that in smooth, so I can't even be mad at that.
Hey, man.
That one right in.
He will make a great coach, right? He identified great talent, right? He was like, this is the perfect situation for me to win a championship. Hey, now it's a total shit show now, but last year was perfect storm.
Burrow saved goddamn Ogeron's job, though.
I think he did. I think a lot of people, him, Brady, there's a lot of people that saved his job. I don't think for him, not to get on it, but I think he didn't think about the tomorrow, right? He didn't think about how much success he was going to have and what was the backup plan once we have this success. Because we lost everything from quarterbacks to players to coaches to assistants to analysts. It was just so much that disappeared and COVID hit. And it was just a perfect storm to knock him back to reality. Now, here's the offseason. Let's see what he does. Let's see what kind of moves he make to get back.
Right. Let's talk about this college football.
I hope they all catch COVID and they get canceled. How about that?
So on the Ballas Junior page, they put the top earners of college football teams. And Smash, I know you made a comment saying 3 out of the top, what was it, top 5 or whatever, top 4?
Yeah, top 4.
Yeah.
Only one that was on there was Clemson.
Right, are in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. And I know everybody's hating them out Notre Dame, saying they don't deserve to be there.
They don't. You know they don't, Gio.
But they put butts in the seats.
They put bucks or butts?
Butts, bucks, whatever you want to call it.
Hey man, it's I said it once before. It's just that old school mentality. Those 3 schools are schools that have been since I know since I've been around. You know, these last 20, 25 years.
What?
Since I've been around, you know, those have always been the top schools. Even when you talk about college, favorite football college moments, you go back to the Notre Dame, Rocket Ismail, you know, Ohio State. You might show a clip of Herb Street, like you mentioned earlier. Alabama, they always going to have something with Bear Bryant and some of the players from Alabama. So I still feel like, to me, like the NCAA is kind of it's similar to our politics in the world now. You know what I'm saying? They have their finger on the pulse, and they have those teams that want to be in there. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Like, I think once you get out of that NCAA and do something different, it might be something different, because those teams, I mean, you either like Alabama or you hate Alabama. So that's why they butt fillers. I don't understand why Notre Dame were butt fillers. I seat fillers. I can't understand.
It's either you love them or you hate them.
Let's
back in the day.
I mean,
I don't know about
Notre Dame from the 80s on back. Notre Dame was relevant.
Right.
They're actually force feeding Notre Dame to everybody. To watch them get destroyed by damn near 30, 40 points and still make the playoffs is crazy. But I give Notre Dame credit, right? Thank you, Notre Dame. I appreciate it. It kept them Aggies out of there. So I'm good with it. It kept Florida. Florida shot them when we took care of Florida. And Florida shot themselves in the foot in the conference championship game. So long as A&M and Florida didn't make it, I'm good. Notre Dame, go ahead and get embarrassed. Notre Dame, go ahead and get embarrassed, and it's all good.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm a Big Ten fan, and
they got football over there.
Yeah, we have football, and there's no way Ohio State should have made it.
No, they shouldn't have. No, they shouldn't.
There's no way they should have made it.
Notre Dame, and there shouldn't have been a Midwestern team in the playoffs, period. It shouldn't have been. The whole Midwest should have got canceled out.
Who was that that cheated? Was it Cincy?
Cincinnati got cheated.
That's a Midwest team, but he just said they all should have been.
The Power 5 Midwest team should have got kicked out. That's what I should say. Let me read. Right. I really think that Cincy played a really good season. They really, they didn't play the team. They didn't play a conference game like the Big Ten, but they still won the game. Won more games than Ohio State played.
Man, Big Ten conference games. Ohio State didn't even play nobody.
Right.
Hey,
so that's my point.
Now flip it. Take that same 4 and switch it over to basketball. Cincinnati would have got in if you would have, you know what I'm saying? Notre Dame would have probably got in still. Alabama would have been out.
Alabama would have been out. I mean, you think about it.
You know what I'm saying? So
Notre Dame probably would have been out. Right.
Yeah. You got to. If it was basketball, it'd be a whole different scenario. I mean, so you got to flip it.
I mean, we know why it happened. I mean, from a standpoint of what my team is not in it, so I don't have a dog in the fight. So I can say this is that they wanted to put the butts in the seats. They wanted everybody to tune in the TV and what's going to make for good TV. Nobody wanted to see Cincinnati versus Alabama, something like that. They want to see the blue bloods of college football make it. So I get why they did it. I really, the only gripe that I had, Ohio State, the cachet of the Ohio State University, they deserve to be there, right? Just because of who they are. But Notre Dame should not have been there. right? You got a chance to you beat Clemson earlier without Sunshine, and then when they did have Sunshine, you got destroyed.
I could go the other way with that one. I could say Notre Dame should have been there and Ohio State shouldn't. Ohio State played 6 games.
They both shouldn't have been there. But when you get destroyed on the field, like they shouldn't have been there because they didn't play less. They played less than 8 games, right? Notre Dame got destroyed on the field, so that kills them off as well. You know, so it's just like here you got SEC teams that's playing. They played almost a complete season, and they only has one team in. Whereas A&M, as much as I hate A&M, they should have been in this playoffs, right? They should have been in. They should have been in over Notre Dame. They should have been in over a Ohio State. Legitimately, they should have been in there. But I'm glad that they didn't. But if you just put all biases aside, they should have been in this playoffs.
Right.
You gotta agree. You gotta agree with that, Gio.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I'm a Big Ten fan, and I'm Ohio. You know, I'll be going for Ohio State, but they only played 5-6 games,
right? And then, I feel bad for teams like Cincinnati. I feel bad for teams like HBCUs. You know, stop asking to be in their dance and just go create your own dance because they don't want.
That's why. And you were starting something. I'm getting ready to say that's why I say they need to expand the playoffs because I think like if you win your division or whatever, you should be in the playoffs. So Cincinnati won their conference,
right?
Or and they should be in there, and we should have a playoff because then you got the best of the best,
right? And I agree with you because I've been a proponent for take away one of those cupcake games, those tune-up games, right? Take all the conference champions, from all the Division I leagues, and make them go play a playoff. And that would be if you get beat, you get beat. But at least if you don't win your conference, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. And that so Notre Dame, you can't be half a foot in the ACC and half the foot out of the ACC. Get your butt in the conference and stay there, and then play.
Now I got another question. So, with the SEC being so big, do the SEC East winner and the SEC West winner guarantee a playoff spot, or just the SEC champion?
The champion, man. The champion.
Same with the ACC.
Yeah. I mean, we got to look at it like soccer, bro. Like soccer the Premier League has 60 teams? I don't know how many. I'm just exaggerating, but there's a bunch of teams in the Premier League, right? From top to bottom. And that's just the way college football needs to go. Like the Big 12 needs to be evaporated into the SEC. All the teams that's over in the southeast of ACC need to be evaporated into the ACC. So and then just get those Power 5 conferences. If you can't win, you can't win. You know what I'm saying? No matter what conference that you're in, if you can't beat them, you can't beat them. So it just needs to be less conferences and be more like the soccer, how soccer is set up, where if you win, you win. If you don't, you just go home. And that's just the way it should be. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't be having to sit around here with a bowl committee who knows who their bias, which this definitely shows the bias of Ohio State getting in and they didn't play enough games. But because who they are, the committee put them in. The era of the human bias had made it.
Not even put them in. They set they set up these rules because of COVID, and then they literally just broke all the rules and set up just to let Ohio State in.
Right, because it was a standard, right? Didn't the Big 12 say you had to play at least 6 conference games or something like that? Then it came back and said.
So I got something for you, GeauxDee. I mean, you can chime in too, GeauxDee, Gio. One of them is a point. Like I don't like even the voting for the BCS championship or whatever, because I remember one year, and I don't know if it's still true, but Condoleezza Rice was a voter. I'm like, you never played college football. How can you be a voter on this?
She's still on. But I believe she's still on.
That's a side point.
Mm-hmm.
But with your thing talking about everyone from each conference come in, can we add to that the number one team in
I know where you're going with that.
HBCU and the number one team in Ivy League?
No.
Why?
See, here's my thing, man. When it comes to the HBCUs, this is how I feel. We got to stop trying to assimilate and go ahead and segregate away from these fools. That's just the way I feel. Stop trying to be on the same stage with them and create your own stage and play on your own stage. I don't know. I missed the last two shows, and I don't know if we talked about it or not with Dion coming out with his tweets talking about give the HBCUs the same shot to these bowl games like the Power Five or the PWIs get. That's the wrong question. You should be going after these sponsors that sponsor these bowl games and create your own bowls, because we will watch it, right? We're diehard football fans. That's America's sport. We shouldn't be trying to assimilate into the PWI system. We should be creating our own system and doing our own thing. I don't the level until we can get the talent, the equal amount of talent like the PWIs, then I can see what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, Smash. But I don't want to see a HBCU or Ivy League get out there and get demolished because they got all the talent, you know.
And I'm just asking, you know what I mean? I was just
I
see what you're saying about like get your own thing, and I know Dion did talk about that, not to jump on, but he did talk about it, and Jamie Dukes had a good setup, I think, for the playoff system, but he kind of mentioned some of the stuff you talking about, attack those sponsors first, but I think the HBCU is going to go down that route where they get their own thing, but it's going to take some time, of course. But
yeah. But you got a good catalyst. You got somebody in Dion. If he gets the right people around him, earlier, if you remember CP and I talking about it, understanding the culture of HBCU. If you don't understand the culture of HBCU, then it's going to be kind of hard for you to direct, to be the catalyst to direct that ship the way it needs to go. He's thinking it from a Florida State, from a PWI standpoint. He's not really thinking it from an HBCU Black college cultural standpoint, where the same way that they took from us is the same way we should be taken back from them. And the first thing of all is get the players back, which he's doing now. Get the players back. Once we get the players back and we have the product that actually can shine, then we can start going after those sponsors and getting those bigger bowl games. Celebration Bowl is huge for Black colleges, right? Whoever wins the MEAC, whoever wins the SWAC, plays in the Celebration Bowl, and they get a nice payday for that. So that's the thing. That's the type of system that we should be trying to develop around that system, not trying to assimilate into what the PWIs are doing.
Yep. Agreed. Let's see. That's basically it, man, for the show. We ain't talking about nothing gaming. Normally we bring something gaming up. I would like to say the Ballas Junior Charity Fantasy Football League is officially over.
Who won?
The squad.
Who's the squad?
They barely made it in the playoffs, and they did the New York Giants and just beat everybody.
Who is the squad? You gotta give them their props, Gio. They won.
The squad. So the squad, you can catch them on YouTube. The squad. They talk about Chicago sports, and they're also a little disrespectful because they also was putting They're also weekly talking about fantasy football stuff. So they literally were talking about how they was going to whoop us in fantasy football on the show. You can catch them on YouTube. BA Squad. You know what I'm saying? It's spelled like you from Chicago. We say duh, not the.
DA, the squad, huh?
Yeah, the squad.
Hey, that's like when we playing 2K, huh? Shooting from the.
Yeah. So, yeah, they got a little disrespectful, saying like, this is what we're doing this week in fantasy football. This is going to work and blah, 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 blah. And they came in the playoffs and just whooped us all. You know what I'm saying? That was the number one team. And I lost to them. I lost to them in the game before the championship.
Lost in the semifinal.
Yep, lost in the semifinal. I ended up winning third place. I beat Deep Murph. Shout out to shout out to D Murph. You know what I'm saying? Why Not Sport, Flagrant 2. The squad ended up beating Rizzo from Rizzo Ranch, Jay Rizzo from Rizzo Ranch.
And I don't even know how Rizzo made it up in there, man. Rizzo was doing some willing and dealing at the last end of the season.
Hey, I won 3 games. I think I won 2 games. No, I won 3 games all season.
You won 3, but guess 2 of them was from.
And 2 of them I beat my co-hosts.
I couldn't beat him for nothing, man.
I beat my co-host. Hey, right. So it was a successful season for me.
Right.
I go up against top people in the league, and I'm beating them. Then I go against this dude who ain't won a game, and he killed me every time. I'm like, what the hell?
It was a good season, so we definitely got to come back, Gio, and talk about what charity that they're gonna.
Yeah, I got all that. I got the video ready. I just got to upload it. That's coming soon. There's gonna be a lot of uploads in the next couple days. Other teams that were in it, BTG, the president of podcasting. You know what I'm saying? If you're on Twitter, you're on Black Twitter, you're on podcast Twitter. Everybody know who BTG is. If you don't know, now you know. He represented, his team was called Hillman College. We also have Penrose versus Everybody. You should check out his podcast. You know what I'm saying? Penn was the type of dude that'll steal your girl, but he ain't even trying to steal your girl. Your girl just gonna gravitate towards him. So you gotta be careful. Everybody knows CP, Murder Out Park.
That's what.
Yep. And then we also had Jones, you know what I'm saying, actor, producer. Did he direct something yet?
He's doing some stuff on the side right now, but he's definitely that's part of his repertoire as well. Shouts out to
because I know he was talking about it, but I don't know if he finished those projects up. But that's the hardest working dude out there in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Check out what's the last thing I saw of his? That holiday movie.
The Nashville Christmas Carol. Yeah.
Yep, Nashville Christmas Carol. Check that out. You know what I'm saying? Especially around this time, you can still watch Christmas movie all the way up until January 15th, I want to say.
It's a Hallmark movie, so they'll be playing that all during the summer.
Yeah, it'll be playing. You're right about that, bro.
It's gonna get its runs.
You're right about
that. With that being said, let's go ahead and smash any closing remarks.
Man, just glad to be here, bro. Getting ready to close out another year, God willing, make it to 2021. And hopefully, we get this COVID situation under control so we can get back to a little normalcy and do some face-to-face or at least some in-person bonding instead of this virtual bonding that we've been doing. But, man, just looking forward to another year, bro. So hopefully, like I said, God willing, that I'm able to make it to the new year and then make it through that year as well, bro.
GeauxDee?
Well, for me, I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be healthy with this COVID era that we're living in. I'm kind of on the other side of smash. I think COVID is here to stay. I think we just got to learn to live with it. I just want everybody to understand if we focus on ourselves and try to better ourselves, we don't have to lean on the people that we've elected to lead us. And at these times, we're looking at everybody wants subsidy for this, subsidy for that through these COVID times. But if we're focusing on ourselves and really uplifting one another like we're supposed to, we'll be okay. Other than that, man, I'm glad to see 2021 coming around. Great things for the network. Geo's got 3 different shows going. Talker Brothers. We got shouts out to Talks with Tatiana. We got some good things coming for 2021, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. At the end of the day, let's make the best of what we got. Let's not dwell on what we don't have. Let's dwell on what we do have going into 2021.
Yep. Yeah, I like to say, everything's how you take your perspective in life. You know what I'm saying? You could say 2020 was the worst year ever, or you could say 2020 was your best year. 2020 gave you the opportunity or the time to find yourself, to discover yourself. 2020 gave us the opportunity and the time to actually connect with the family. You actually had to have conversation. It got to a point where, the missus officially now got engaged.
Congratulations.
On Christmas Day.
It's on wax, not smash. No turning back, smash. Yeah. It's on wax.
Where she got tired of seeing and talking to me. She's like, "Don't you go play the game or something?"
Right. Definitely test your love.
Yep. So, if your relationship made it through COVID, it's gonna last. If it didn't, you guys weren't meant to be together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But 2020, opened up a lot of eyes and a lot of doors for certain individuals. It depends on how you take it. Definitely opened up my eyes and hopefully other people to realize that, like, hey, we cannot rely on these elected officials. We have to be the change we want. You'll say we can't expect somebody that doesn't know our culture, doesn't know our situation, never been in our environment, never been where we've been at, and expect them to help us if we're not willing to help ourselves.
Right.
Yep. So with that being said, we're out.
Peace.